Okay, well, hello everyone. I'm going to give a couple seconds to let you jump on here. And as soon as I see some viewers, we'll go ahead and get started. I hope you're having an amazing week this week. Good, we have a couple jumping on now. This is great. Hello, hello. So glad that you're choosing to be on. Hello, everyone. Let me know when you are on. Let me see here who I have. Okay, Kayla Connor is on. I know there's a few more of you on. I just haven't heard from yet. Excited to talk to you. Thank you, Nicole, for messaging and saying to jump on. And Angela Delaquilla's on. Yay. Anyone else yet? Nope, I'll just give it a second and then I'm going to get started. Okay, Kaya's on. Thank you, Kaya, for jumping on. Excited for tonight. Halfway through the week. Allie Ernest is on. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started now. So it is 9:01. And my name is Brittany, and I am the director of the Brittany's Bodacious Bombshell Unit, and also am Lindsay's director, her senior director, for those of you who are jumping on from Lindsay's unit. And right now, if you don't know this, we are working on a huge goal, which is to finish up our national area. And you already are a huge piece of that. You're a huge piece of the puzzle for us, just because you're on this and you're a part of our area. But I want you to know that you have the opportunity to play an even bigger role in that. And so jumping on these is, of course, a great way to start and a great thing to do. Lauren's on. Thank you, Lauren, for jumping on the Hangout. That's exciting that you're on for the first time. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you, and I'm going to keep this really quick, about a couple things. First of all, I want to talk to you a little bit about some cool stuff that's been happening in my life the past 2 days. So my mom worked for United Parcel Service, UPS, for 30 years of her life. And that's as old as I am. And so it's kind of funny because she has worked there since I was born. And when she started the company, of course, it was completely different and things have changed because of technology and other reasons, a ton. But really, we were just honoring her in the fact that she worked so hard for 30 years. And it was so much fun to see a retirement party in corporate America. Now, I've never been a part of corporate America, and I never want to be. And every time I'm like, even like, going in and doing facials in some office that looks like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful. I just don't feel like I would fit in. But these past 2 days have been no different. But what I want to tell you is that something that's so incredibly different about Mary Kay than any other company. And I'm so blessed and so thankful for this. And you're so blessed by this too, if you choose to take this as it can be for you. And that is that, you know, my mom was literally counting down the days to retirement. And for those of you who are new, I want to explain something to you. So as a consultant in Mary Kay, there is no retirement. Like, you could stay a consultant for forevermore. Same thing as a sales director. You could stay a sales director for forevermore. In fact, we have women who are car driving women that are consultants at the age of 80. So like, seriously, there's no limitation to that. It's for anyone and everyone. And sales directors, same thing. We have some women like Rose Campbell is one of our friends, Chris Dineker's senior sales director, and she is a director, and I know that she's well past the age of what retirement is considered in Mary Kay, which is 65 years old. However, there's a really prestigious position, which if you feel like God's calling you to this, I'd love to talk to you more about it. It's the position of National Sales Director. And at that position, from 65 to 80, you retire. You retire at the age of 65. You are done with retirement, your compensation for that at the age of 80. But what it is, and I might be a little bit off on this, but just know I'm close to the numbers, is they take your last 5 years and basically those 5 years in your business, and they give you like, I think it's 40 to 60% pay between those years. And when you retire, then basically you're making somewhere around $20,000 a month typically in retirement as a national sales director. I'm pretty sure you get to keep a Mary Kay pink Cadillac, and you also get to choose to go on 3 more trips, and there's so many other benefits. And if you die, it goes to someone in your family, so it doesn't just disappear like many other pensions do. And so that's just an amazingly awesome retirement program, right? Like lots of money to be had. And of course, I don't think everything's about the money, but I do think money buys us choices and it gives us lots of options. And so I like to know those options because you can't give what you don't have. And a lot of times, even though you might be in Mary Kay to change women's lives, what happens is your paycheck is a reflection of how many lives you change. So in reality, it's not just that you're making more money, but the bigger your check is, that means the more women that you've helped to succeed, the more women you've helped to make their dreams come true, to help their financial situations, etc. And so that's a big old deal. And so anyway, when most national sales directors retire, they retire at 65 and they are sad to leave. Like they are sad. They do not want to retire at all. I mean, honestly, Debbie Moore, we've been so graciously adopted into her area, and her and Kathy Halou only have a few years left, and they keep saying, we don't want to go. We don't want to go. We don't want to go. And watching corporate America today, as I walked in to my mom's office to see all of this happen, everyone is counting down the days. And one guy even said, I always say I'm only a few bad days from retirement. And it's just such a different feel. And I'm not saying corporate America is bad or any of that. What I'm saying is, in Mary Kay, when you work, first of all, this paycheck will pay you for forevermore. Your work today will pay you for forevermore. And it's not just paying you in the sense of financially, but also in the legacy that you leave behind. You know, my mom was talking, and it's kind of funny because you kind of watch this phase out. But my mom was saying, we went on a walk afterwards, and she was like, you know, most of my good friends have already retired because I was the second youngest out of the group of people that started, you know, about 30 years ago. There's only one other woman that was younger than me, and she's over in another location, and she retires this next year. And she said, so a lot of my stories and my, you know, most memorable moments are with those people. And now there's this new flux of people coming in. And as I thought about that, I thought about the legacy portion, because when you watch national sales directors debut or retire, what they talk about is the legacy left behind. And the more she shared, the more I realized that I hadn't heard about any of those past people in her life, and there wasn't necessarily a legacy that was left behind to any of them. And so it just was so eye-opening, such a great reminder of why we do what we do, and of why Mary Kay is honestly the very best company that you could ever work for. Filled with the best friends, the best people, the best opportunity in the land. And so I just want you to know that, you know, you could be brand new and maybe you're second guessing, like, did I get myself into too much, or what did I get myself into, or any of that? Or maybe you're seasoned and sometimes you have moments of doubt, but I want you to know, like, don't quit. This is seriously the best of the best opportunities when you choose to stay in it. So then I'm thinking through some other things too, and I'm going to get to a little bit of training here. And I was thinking through emotional management a little bit, how the numbers don't lie. And I was thinking just a lot about, you know, corporate America and the fact that my mom's done now. And she's like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do with myself. And I feel like Mary Kay changes you as a person, so you completely would know what to do with yourself when you retire. So one thing I want to leave you with is emotionally, Mary Kay, the best thing is that they do provide us with an amazing emotional support system. They're the best girlfriends. We have the best education. We have the best training. We have the best mentors. You have a sales director that is there for you. And no, she might not answer your box the second you send it, but she answers you pretty quickly. And she is vested and invested in your future and in your success. And I want you to know that the emotional portion of this business, I do feel like can sometimes be the hardest part to manage. But I want to teach you a trick that forevermore has changed me anytime I've been in a slump. Are you ready? Do you want to hear it? I think you do. I know you do, actually. Anytime I'm feeling emotionally distraught or feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm just not where I want to be. And the reason why I mention this is because we have 8 days left until the end of the month. And the end of the month, the Mary Kay, if you're brand new, is just a big deal. Like, we go full out. We go full out all the time. The 1st through the 5th, we go full out totally. We go full out till the 15th, and then the 16th through the rest of the month, we are going full out because we want to break records. This is the final 4 months. We have March, April, May, June. That is it. 4 months to break our records, to beat last year's best, to be where we want to be. Lindsay's unit's working on 500,000. My unit's working on the trip to NSD, which means we're working on the trip to Rome, and then we're going to go NSD immediately after that. And so one of the things that I found to be so helpful when it gets to the point where you're 8 days left and you set a goal at the beginning of the month and you're just not sure if you're going to reach it. And I feel like God's placed this on my heart, so I know this is for someone. Because I know I've set personal goals for this month, and I'm like, oh man, they're kind of making me want to vomit in my mouth a little bit because I haven't reached them yet. I want you to know the best thing you can do is book. What you're going to spend the very most time in your business most likely doing is booking, whether that be booking from referrals, booking, out warm booking, meeting new people to get bookings, booking from your bookings at your parties. You're going to spend a lot of time booking. And right now, if you're in a moment where you're feeling like, oh man, am I going to reach that? The worst thing to do is to stop and to think. Because this 6 inches right here can sometimes be the most dangerous neighborhood you can go into. And in fact, they always say your brain is a dangerous neighborhood. Don't go in it alone. And I agree. So in these last 8 days, emotionally, what will keep you charged? What will keep you feeling like you're successful? What's going to keep you fired up is going and booking parties. Because, I know personally, when a no comes my way, if I pick up the phone and I get the next yes, I feel good. Or if I'm looking at my date book and I see that I have future parties, I feel great. So some of the numbers, y'all, half of our appointments hold. And I want to keep that real with you because I think we are going back to the kitchen table. We're going back to working. We're going back to partying. Not that we haven't been, but we are partiers. Like Lindsay and I, when we started this company, we started and all we did was parties. We partied day in, day out. What would happen is I would do parties and I would come home and she would be in a party at our condo. And then we would book more parties on the phone. And I would get home and I would hear her booking. I thought I wasn't going to book, but I'm going to book now that I hear her booking. And so it was this continuous cycle of booking. And when you can book yourself and you know that half hold and you know that out of every 10 text messages you send, probably one person's going to respond. And you know that our average party sale is $300. So you just need to get to your next party. Everything is better. Action cures fear. Action cures any emotional issues that you're going through. Action cures the distance and the gap between where you are right now and where you said you were going to be at the end of March. All we have to do is get into action. That's it. Get into action. We pick up the phone, we get paid. We pick up the phone, we get paid over and over and over and over and over again, y'all. It's not just this one time, but for forevermore, and not just financially, but from the legacy we leave behind because of the lives that we change. Do you guys know that you have women at your fingertips that are dying for this opportunity? I looked around in this, I had to paint a picture for you. This horrible work environment because it's a factory. It's not a factory. It's just this huge building that's ugly and gross and has brown trucks and yucky, dusty things. And it provided an amazing living for my mom and for me too. So I'm not saying that, but it's certainly not pink. There are no tiaras. There's no glitter and there are no boas like what we have in our Mary Kay business. I look around and I see the women, and there was one woman specifically, and she said, I work overnight shifts. So she goes in, I think around like 1 or 2. She doesn't get off until like 11 or 12 maybe. That could be wrong, but I think it's somewhere around there. She then tries to help as much as she can with her kids, but she says she's so tired that it's kind of a little bit hard. And she just goes right back at it again. And she goes, I've missed a lot of things I didn't want to miss. And I just really wish that I had something to give time-wise to my kids more than what I do. And I'm just thinking to myself, we have that, we have that, we have that. Oh my gosh. And I think about all the women in my life that have passed me by, and I just have so selfishly now offered this amazing opportunity to. And I know that if I'm doing that, you're doing that too. And I want you to say, let's stop. Let's make a promise today that we're going to stop doing that. We're not going to not offer this opportunity to people anymore. We're going to offer it to everybody. And what they choose to do with it is totally their thing. But what we can be in charge of and what we can be responsible for is just simply offering it, because we have the best of the best opportunities of the land. So the numbers are real. They are. When you get on the phone, appointments will book with you. When you call, 1 in every 5 typically book. When you text, 1 in every 10 typically book. Your average party is $300 in sales. If you've done some parties and they haven't been $300 in sales, then what you need to do is you need to talk to your sales director about potentially things that could be missing. One of the hot spots of your business is your individual consultation at the end. I know Lindsay and I both at times have struggled with this. I know that Allie Ernest, I know Emily Harding, I know those women who are strong selling women in our units have sometimes shied away from individually closing. But what I will tell you is when they choose to do that, and when we all choose to do this, we're going to get so much better results. So individual consultations are so key. Are you doing them? And then if you are, what are you saying in them? And when you're in your party, are you using your product head to toe? When you use your product head to toe, you guys, women feel the genuineness of your heart and they want what you have. When your skin is changed by this product because you're on the right line, using the right supplements, and you're doing it morning to night, and you're using your Skin Figure 8 brush, and you are wearing Mary Kay head to toe, y'all, people buy this product. This company works forevermore. It's worked since 1963. So emotionally, wrapping yourself around this is, are you booking? Are you doing the bookings, the amount of time it takes to book? I think that every day there should be a little something done in your business where you're booking, okay? So that's my personal thought process. The party is so key. It's where you learn everything. You could not attend new consultant training. You could not jump on these Google Hangouts. You could not call into another $1 million message for as long as you live. You could not have your In Touch webpage. But if you do parties and book appointments, you're going to be successful. And that's what it's all about. Booking parties, party plan, 5, 8, 10, 5, 8, 10. Where are you today on your 5, 8, 10 party plan? And where do you want to be? And what can you do in the meantime to make it up? So the numbers are real. The numbers are real. And if you feel like you're not getting the numbers, I want to ask you if you feel like you're doing enough work to get them, number one. If you have enough book to make up for the half that aren't going to hold. And if you're going in with the right mindset too. Emotional management is about deciding to be positive. It's about deciding that you're changing your future here before you can see it. Okay. And when you visualize in your mind that you see this better lifestyle, that you see the house you're going to live in, that you see the college you're going to send your kids to, that you see your savings account building, that you see the income that you have swelling, that you see the lives that you're changing coming in, and you see that Mary Kay career car you're driving, you touch that Mary Kay career car, and you can smell that Mary Kay career car, and you know you're getting a new one every 2 years. And in fact, you're going to do it quicker because you're jumping up the career path. Emotionally, you become a different person. And who you think you be is who you become. I've watched some of the least trained consultants become the highest sellers of the week. And the way they do that is because they don't know any better. They don't know any better. And all they do is they go and they share how jacked up excited they are. And so I don't know what it takes to get you jacked up excited. But what I do know is when you choose to, you're going to see a completely different space in your business. So I just know that we have the hope to offer to so many others. I'm going to end tonight with a little chapter, a little blurb, not a chapter, not a whole chapter. That sounds like a lot. Don't get off now. Of The Circle Maker. And it's one of my favorite books, and it's by Mark Batterson. And one of my Voxer groups, I left this message, but I want to tell you that sometimes God is so in the details, and you need to just be really aware. And speaking of that, Easter, if you don't have a church to go to, my church is doing services at 9:30 and 11 o'clock on Sunday, Easter Sunday. And they're also doing a service on Saturday evening at 6. And that church is going to be the new location of our Monday night meetings. If you're someone who's local in the Columbus area, so you're more than welcome to attend that. I think the address is 817 North Hamilton Road. I would love for you to attend an Easter service if you don't have one that you do regularly attend. But anyways, I was talking about how God's in the details. This week I was unable to go to CrossFit, and I really have been enjoying that. Lindsay and I have been going to CrossFit together, and we loved it. I've seen huge results, and I absolutely love it. But this day I wasn't able to, and I was really frustrated because it kind of just didn't work out. It was Olympic lifting was the next thing at the time slot we wanted to go, and clearly we're not Olympic lifters yet. Just yet, not yet. I don't think we ever want to be, but you know. And so what happened was I went over to Hoover Dam stairs, and I started playing some Jesus music because that always shifts my mind. And the song Oceans came on, and it talks about Lord, lead me where my feet can't touch, basically. And I want to be able to feel that it's you that's providing me this faith. I want to feel that it's you that gets me through the storm. And that song was so touching. It was so key. And y'all, I could tell you about God moment after God moment after God moment that, how Lindsay was placed in my life, how each of you were placed in my life, how, he provides in times where you don't have buildings to meet in. He provides when you don't have, anything, you're not anywhere near your goal, he provides. And so as I was thinking about that, I whipped out this book because there's a chapter that I want to read to you, a little segment of a chapter. And I hope this encourages you because we have 8 days left to close out our best month. March, best month. April, best month. May, best month after that. June, the very best June we've ever had, because we are going from 500,000 as Lindsay's unit, Trip in my unit, into this national area. And that's exactly where we're going. So if you've ever wanted to be a part of a winning team, congratulations, you chose the right area. You are a part of a winning team, and every little piece you do counts. This is chapter 5 in the Circle Maker, Cloudy with a Chance of Quail. You're going to love this story, so stick with me here. Before the first raindrop fell, Honey had to have felt a little foolish. Standing inside a circle and demanding rain in a risky proposition, vowing that you won't leave the circle until it rains is even riskier. Honey didn't draw a semicircle, he drew a complete circle. There was no escape clause, no expiration date. Honey backed himself into a circle, and the only way out was a miracle. Drawing prayer circles often looks like an exercise in foolishness, but that's faith. Faith is the willingness to look foolish. Noah looked foolish building a boat in the middle of a desert. The Israelite army looked foolish marching around Jericho blowing trumpets. A shepherd boy named David looked foolish charging a giant with a slingshot. The Magi looked foolish tracking a star to Timbuktu. Peter looked foolish getting out of a boat in the middle of the Sea of Galilee. And Jesus looked foolish wearing a crown of thorns. But the result speaks for itself. Noah was saved from the flood. The walls came tumbling down. David defeated Goliath. The Magi discovered Messiah. Peter walked on water, and Jesus was crowned King of Kings. Foolishness is a feeling that Moses was very familiar with. He had to feel foolish before going before Pharaoh and demanding that he let God's people go. He felt foolish raising his staff over the Red Sea, and he most certainly felt foolish promising meat to eat for the entire nation of Israel in the middle of the wilderness. But his willingness to look foolish resulted in epic miracles. The exodus of Israel out of Egypt, the parting of the Red Sea, and the quail miracle. Drawing prayer circles often feels foolish, and the bigger the circle you draw, the more foolish you'll feel. But if you aren't willing to step out of the boat, you'll never walk on water. If you aren't willing to circle the city, the wall will never fall. And if you aren't willing to follow the star, you'll miss out on the greatest adventure of your life. In order to experience a miracle, you have to take a risk. And one of the most difficult types of risk to take is risking your reputation. Honey already had a reputation as a rainmaker, but he was willing to risk his reputation by praying for rain one more time. Honey took the risk, and the rest is history. The greatest chapters in history always begin with risk, and the same is true with the chapters of your life. If you're unwilling to risk your reputation, you'll never build the boat like Noah or get out of the boat like Peter. You cannot build God's reputation if you aren't willing to risk yours. There comes a moment when you need to make the call or make the move. Circle makers are risk takers. Moses had learned this lesson well. If you don't take the risk, you forfeit the miracle. And honest to God, y'all, I had a God moment when I opened up that book, and that's exactly the place I turned to. We're looking for miracles, right? And so we got to step out of the boat. We got to step out of the boat in order to get the opportunity to walk on water. You know, I know that you're on this for a specific reason, and I know that that chapter probably just touched you in a way that it touched me. And what I want to call you and ask you to do is to step out of the boat. You might be playing mediocre right now. You might just be playing half in. But guys, there is nothing about this opportunity that when you go all in, you won't be so glad that you did. There is so much that you can miss out on if you don't go all in. Let's go all in. Let's risk it. Let's throw our reputations to the side and not worry about what other people will think, but worry about the lives we're not changing when we care so much about what other people think. How many lives we can change by thinking that. So I appreciate you for being on this call. I just want you to plug in with your sales director. I want you to plug in with the resources we've given you. We have a website that's phenomenal for you to plug into. We have all the ways possible for you to be successful. Success in this company is not a matter of clocking in and clocking out like other jobs. Success in this company is about taking risks, believing in the miracles, and going all in. Will you go all in with me these next 8 days to make it the most amazing, magical March you have ever had? I hope you will, and I hope you have an amazing night. Bye-bye.